Hello. In this third tidbit about Sinfonia Toronto's September 27 concert at the Meridian Arts Center, I will be talking about Shostakovich's Violin Sonata, which we are going to premiere in an orchestral version with violinist Igor Pikayzen. So the sonata was composed by Shostakovich as a 60th birthday present for his friend and great violinist David Oistrakh. The unofficial premiere took place the next year with David Oistrakh and Moshe Weinberg on the piano. David Oistrakh was a good friend of Weinberg as well. Weinberg himself was a composer and a fairly good piano player. So this was a unofficial premiere at the Composers Union in Moscow to have the piece performed for other composers. And then an official premiere took place on May 3rd, 1969, with pianist Sviatoslav Richter, one of the greatest pianists of the 20th century. So David Oistrakh again on the violin and Richter on the piano. In general, when you go to hear a concert, it's always good if the music is new to you to hear it once. And today, YouTube and other sites are a great wealth of information and recordings, especially historical recordings. Many of our subscribers tell me that often they come to a concert, if it's a piece that they don't know, they never heard it before, they like to hear it once. And those of you who live in the greater Toronto area and planning to come to concert, and you go look on YouTube, you will find a lot of recordings of this work and some historical ones, especially the recording made with David Oistrakh and Sviatoslav Richter. When I first wanted to hear the work, I noticed a performance with David Oistrakh and Shostakovich. Shostakovich was a virtuoso pianist when he was young, but in 1968 or 69, he was already diagnosed with polio, and he would only live another 7 years after that. He was in very poor health. So I wanted to hear this. So I heard the piece and I was actually shocked because David Oistrakh is an amazing violinist and he was stumbling on some notes. It's a very difficult piece. And Shostakovich himself also was making many mistakes, especially in the third movement, in the piano cadenza. I listened many times and in order to make sense of what he was doing on the piece that he composed, and I just could not understand that piano cadenza in it. Well, I found out what happened. This was before performing it with Sviatoslav Richter, David Oistrakh went to Shostakovich's apartment in Moscow, and they had not rehearsed together, and Shostakovich himself was in poor health, so they read through the piece with hardly any rehearsal, and of course there was no editing possible. Shostakovich put his tape recorder, and they just did in one take the entire first movement and the second movement and the third movement, just to get an idea about tempi, because Shostakovich was extremely insistent on the tempi markings that he wrote. So that's why that recording, however, it still is very interesting, especially for tempi and phrasing. And Shostakovich still, especially in the first movement, he plays it quite beautifully, actually. And then you will hear an official recording with Sviatoslav Richter. In terms of the orchestral arrangement, which was made about 25 years ago, there are three very good performances. Those are video recordings, and they are I think, done in front of a live audience, and one is by a very good one by Gidon Kremer and Kremerata Baltica. Gidon Kremer, great violinist and a student of David Oistrakh, has been playing this piece literally his entire life. And there is also a recording with Augustin Hadelik, wonderful violinist, with an orchestra in Boston. And there's also a recording from Netherlands, which is also a very good one. So this orchestra version makes the piece sound like a symphony. So I am hoping to see you all on September 27 at the Meridian Arts Center. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.